Welcome to A Small Look At, a series where I wrap up the topic in less than 15 minutes with or without my personal thoughts mixed in between. Let's take a small look at the Don't Starve series. The series was created by Clay Entertainment, known for such works as Oxygen Not Included, Mark of the Ninja, Shank, and a couple others. Don't Starve is a survival game with the looks and feel as if Tim Burton himself had joined the cast and just messed around with the art and music. Unlike most survival games out nowadays, these games have something that a lot of them are lacking in terms of ambience: the originality of the series as a whole. What I mean by that is that you can go the whole game and not feel like it's a Minecraft clone. Just take a small look at the trailer we are watching right now. You can see the unique features without even having to see all of the gameplay. Another neat little feature is that it has a really big cast of characters that you can play with from either Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together. Each one plays a unique role in how the person will be affected by their stats. Some people have even gone on to make a tier list for how useful a character is, and it's really helpful to check out the wiki made for it. The amount of times I catch myself going back to look at the usefulness of a character is actually pretty insane. This also goes back to the originality of the game. With each character, there are a ton of possibilities on how each character will be affected. Yet, if you play a game like 7 Days, the most exciting part is going scavenging and trying to look for more of the same thing to do and maybe a zombie here or there. While in Don't Starve, you do scavenge and look for things, of course, but there are plenty of interesting mobs, locations, boss battles, apparel, pets, and the list goes on. I guess it just comes down to preference on what you do and don't like in that aspect. But the more I go back and look at a game like this, the more I feel like sitting down and playing it for hours. Sorry for the little tangent, but I hope you now see where I'm coming from. When we look at a game like this, survival, of course, is #1 top priority. But we also see some other important features that we have to look at, such as the weather system. Each season has its own weather, and you have to be prepared to do whatever it takes to survive. That means making clothes, shelter, campfires, and so on to beat the elements of roughing it. With randomly generated maps, the possibilities are almost endless for how long it takes. You can also take on bosses, but if you're not prepared, well, this can happen.
God damn it!
I know I'm playing solo right now on Don't Starve Together, but I just wanted to be able to let you hear some of the fantastic nature sounds that are in this game. You can also hear some strange ones, like this one right here. Speaking of sounds, we've been listening to some of the original soundtrack in the background. These are some of the songs that play during certain times or certain events, like these ones. Each character also has some form of musical instrument or sound whenever they talk, and here's an example.
You should have kept your mouth shut. God damn it!
It's almost something like Animal Crossing or The Sims, if you will. Let's have a small listen at some of the original soundtrack found in the game. It has an old orchestral feel where everything just fits the art style perfectly. There aren't that many songs in the game, which makes sense since it's more of an atmospheric game with sound cues, but the songs it does have are so pleasing to listen to even outside of the game. There is a full playlist of the Don't Starve Together soundtrack on SoundCloud here. You can check it out for yourself. One of my favorite parts of the game is the lore that goes on with the series. I won't go over too much because there are a ton of lore theories to go around with it. But I'll just say this, since it isn't really much of a spoiler and it becomes common knowledge. The main protagonist Wilson is trapped in a world where he survives the rough and makes his best attempts to live through the nights. And, well, that's pretty much Don't Starve in a nutshell. When you start looking at the cinematics, you'll see more of the lore, and then you'll see some of the comics on DeviantArt that are actually pertaining to the lore. If you want to check them out for yourself, you can go and see them right here. Although, I gotta tell you, before you even see them, there are spoilers in it. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the workshop. The workshop has a ton of different options that you can't get normally in Don't Starve. Anywhere from game mods, new characters, food, memes, or anything else you want to go with it. Anything you want, we got it. Honestly, one of the best mods on there is for displaying what seasons are coming. Some may argue that this is cheating, but at the same time, I think it really doesn't matter that much considering how it should tell you that anyway, at least in my opinion. Anyway, all of that jam-packed into one game makes it well worth the price for less than $20. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try to make at least one small video a week while making 2 big videos in a month. This will help me produce more content along the way and become a more active user. To help support the channel, it would be great if you could leave a like or even subscribe to the channel. It would mean a ton. If you want any more Don't Starve content, you can check out these other YouTube channels in the description below. They have great content and I'm sure they could fit your needs. Till next time, see ya!